Good afternoon, everyone. In today's session, you are going to understand how to set up the production resources. So here is the agenda. The objective enables you to understand the production resource and its associated terms in the context of business processes. The prerequisites for generating the production resource in Onfinity ERP require a configured tenant in your environment. Organizations should already be configured in your tenant. Now let's understand what a production resource is. A production resource refers to any input other than fixed assets used in the manufacturing or production process to create goods or services. This includes elements such as labor, tools, energy, and consumables that are essential for production, but are not classified as long-term assets. These resources are typically consumed, transformed, or utilized during production and may need to be replenished regularly. Let's move on to the system and create the production resources. At the landing page, if you want to configure the production resources, you can search the manufacturing setup window using the menu search utility, or you can directly move on to manufacturing management. Under manufacturing setup, you will be able to see the manufacturing setup window. At this window, all the configuration steps are defined. First, you need to define the bill of material products, then you need to define production resources, work center, standard operations, routing, and later, the production classification. Since we need to set up the production resources, click on the production resource window. Click on New Record and select the appropriate organization. If these resources are applicable for other organizations as well, then you can select Star. Enter the name, for example, technician, and the resource code will be automatically populated by the system. If you want to define your own, you can enter something like Tex01. Select a resource group. Since it is a person, select person. Then select the appropriate resource category. Now select the appropriate skills. If the required skill is not available, you can zoom to the skills window and generate it. For example, you can select electrician. If it is a plumber or engineer, you just need to define it in the skills window and link it here. At the end, define the unit for this resource. For example, it could be hours. Save the record. If you want to define the external cost of this resource, click on External Resource Cost and create a new record. For example, if you want to sell, you can define the selling price as $12,000, the cost as $1,000, and the minimum as $900. If you want to define purchases, you can set the purchase price as $800 and the minimum as $700. In this way, you can define your external resource cost. These costs will not impact finished or semi-finished goods cost in the production. That is how you can generate the production resources. That is all in this video. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.